Hello and welcome to the next Lukozer retro game review video, and as you can see this is going to be another Commodore 128 game. Now let's get straight to the point. There are not a huge number of Commodore 128 games available. That is, games that were designed to be run from the Commodore 128 screen. Most of the time, I mean, just about every Commodore 64 game could be run on a Commodore 128, but you always had to run it in Commodore 64 mode. So the actual number of games that were specifically for the Commodore 128 are rather limited. In fact, the choice of game that I've been rather lumbered with for this video is a shining example of just how few 128 games there are, because this is going to be the last V8. Oh joy. Now, unlike the previous game, the Kickstart 128, this one, the differences between the Commodore 64 version and the Commodore 128 version are quite significant. Firstly, the speech is dramatically improved. That's really not hard. The speech in the Commodore 64 version is atrocious. It's just one of many things that are atrocious about it. So in the 128 version it is a hell of a lot better. It's still not fantastic, but it's much improved. The first level is completely changed. It's completely new level 1. Well, although I say it's completely new, if you've seen my review of Red Max, you've seen the new, the Commodore 128 version level 1. Because it's exactly the same, except of course you are in the completely uncontrollable car from the last V8 instead of the motorcycle. The Red Max, I mean, it's a shit game, but it is much easier to control than this fucking thing. So then you go on to level 2, which is actually the level 1 of the Commodore 64 version, except you start in a different place, and it's actually, in terms of distance, a lot easier to get to the other end. But the location actually means that it's a lot more difficult, because, well, you'll see in the demo mode when the game's loaded, but yeah, don't expect to breeze through it. I'll be amazed if I even get to it. And then level 3, although the layout has changed slightly, it's exactly the same as the Commodore 64 version. So there are some differences there. Unfortunately not enough differences though, because it is still the last V8. It still plays the same way, i.e. trying to drive a completely uncontrollable car around some very tight areas. And you have some, well, on level 2 you have a time limit. The speech even says you have less than 2 minutes to get to the city. So even if you take all the time you have to complete level 2, you're playing it for less than 2 minutes. So, well, let's get the game loaded up, and yeah, let's just get the game loaded up. So we have a loading screen where it looks like somebody has dumped the skeleton of the Elephant Man by a junction on the road. And then underneath you have the underground base with the rather deformed car, and it looks like the Elephant Man is about to get into it and drive the thing. So it's the same loading screen as the Commodore 64 version. It still looks fucking awful, but there you go. onto the game itself.
Carry out your orders. Go at once.
So as you can hear, the speech, as I said, is better. And here we have the completely new level 1. But, as I said, if you've seen my review of Red Max, you've seen this level. So the idea is you have to collect fuel rods. I think you only need to collect 3 of them. And then you can make your way to like, go to the pad. And then when you get to the pad, I mean there's 3 fuel rods there, you can get them in one go. But there you go, you're at the pad.
You have less than 2 minutes to get to the city.
There you go, less than 2 minutes. But, well, as you can see, you start off in a completely different place, but you've got to negotiate all of these corners. And if you've played this game before, you know that getting around corners like that in this car is a fucking thankless task. But you remember the Commodore 64 version, you're really struggling to get there in time, but here we are, and it's not even used up half the time available.
Keep an eye on your instruments and avoid the radiation.
And so on to level 3. So you're told to keep an eye on your instruments and avoid the radiation. But, as with the Commodore 64 version, there is no indication of the radiation until you're being hit by it. And it strips your shields down in next to no time, and the car explodes. Believe me, the car exploding is something you see an awful lot. So, alright, let's get a game underway then. Well, I know how I'm going to do, but let's get a game underway.
Carry out your orders. Go at once.
Now, I don't think there is a time limit on this level. No, there isn't. You also take damage by driving over rough terrain. Oh, you fuck it! I'm trying to slow down. But, oh, driving this fucking car is unbearable.
Carry out your orders. Go at once.
I'll see if I can try and explain why steering this car is so difficult. Okay, so you can see we're facing left. So to accelerate, you move left. So to decelerate, you have to go in the opposite direction. So you go right. Then you start travelling right, so you have to go left to decelerate there, which is fine, okay. But then, if you want to start moving upwards, okay, you move the joystick up and it starts turning. But then it will start accelerating because you are moving in that direction. And this is what happens all the time. You are... I think I... Right, here we go. I've got 1 fuel rod. So you start to steer the car, which is great, but then you start to accelerate in that direction, which it just makes the thing a fucking nightmare to steer. So I've now need to try and get back. There we go. I've got 3 fuel rods, but they're not enough. I need more. Fuck it. How many more do I need? This is by far the longest I've heard this Rob Hubbard music play for. I'm going to crash here because I can't get... Oh, there we go. Another fuel rod. How many do I fucking need to get now? I don't fuck. Fuck off.
Carry out your orders. Go at once.
that speech will get every bit as fucking annoying as the, you know, V8 return to base immediately part from the Commodore 64 version. Right, so we go. I thought I had someone shouting my name out outside. Right. Can I actually get off level 1? And I'll be amazed if I can, but you know, I'll give it a go. There we go, so I've got 3. Oh, that's the pad that I have to go to when I finish the level. But, yeah, it's... Oh, fucking come on! Right, so I've got 5 of them, but now, because the game has the same fucking issues as the 64 version had, the playing area is so fucking small. I mean, it's fine if you're looking for something that's either to the left or the right, but if it's above you or below you, it could be just, you know, a car length away. You can't see it. And I fucking hit the... Alright, last go.
Carry out your orders. Go at once.
Oh, what a fucking unbearable game this is. Now, I want to try and... Oh, I'm trying to get... Right, yeah, around here. No, fuck's sake. I'm gonna fucking run out of shields, so I keep fucking hitting the rough terrain that I'm not supposed to be hitting. Right, can't go that way. I can't go that way either. And, well, the shield is almost out. Oh, fucking what? Hey, what a... I mean, that's... Oh, there we go. The shield's out. That's it. So, right, graphically, it's no different to the first, the Commodore 64 version. It's just as fucking... Yeah. And the presentation, again, the playing area is... What, it's about a quarter of the screen, you know, 2/3 of the screen is taken up with the oversized,
Carry out your orders. Go at once.
yeah, the oversized fucking, display panel, you know, showing your instruments. And then, of course, doing the thing that I really can't stand, where a large part of the screen is constantly taken up by telling you you're playing the last V8 created by David Darling. I don't need to be told that all the fucking time. So it just leaves this tiny fucking, you know, like letterbox of playing area for the actual game. Audio, I mean, it's the same Rob Hubbard music. it's the same Rob Hubbard soundtrack. I do like the Rob Hubbard music. It's the same one as the Commodore 64 version. Got no problem with that. I like it on the Commodore 64 and I like it here on the 128. The speech is vastly improved, but it's still not great. And then comes the gameplay.
Keep an eye on your instruments and avoid the radiation.
The gameplay is just non-existent. The car is utterly uncontrollable, and when you combine that with the the ridiculously small playing area, yeah, it's just a fucking horrible game to play. And I can't believe that they did a 128 version of this game. Of all the games that they could have done for the 128, why this? This game's shit. So I score this 2 out of 10 because I like the Rob Hubbard music and the speech is better. Well, better than the Commodore 64 version. I mean, it's no impossible mission, but it's still an improvement.
Carry out your orders. Go at once.
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea actually. I am going to go at once because I've had enough of this fucking shit game. So that is the last V8 for Commodore 128. Not exactly a title that is going to make people think, God, I've got to get rid of my 64 and replace it with a 128 so I can play this. So that brings this review to an end, and we'll see you at the next one.